Okay, so it seems that we've got a pretty big problem going on in the VTuber community at the moment, and obviously it's to do with bullying and harassment of, people that pretty much don't deserve it. They haven't really done anything wrong, and, a lot of people have been kind of blowing it way out of proportion. Now, this is a lot to do with what is going on with the whole rileycs situation, the Battlefield 6 cheater, if you want to call them a cheater, or if you don't want to call them a cheater. It doesn't really matter for this particular video, but essentially, yeah, that is what we are talking about, and, Camila was a VTuber who actually responded to this, saying, hope he never comes back. This was to a Dexerto post of them saying that rileycs got banned from Twitch after the whole clips went viral. Now, obviously, then what a lot of people have been doing is twisting that into, Camila purposefully misgendering a trans woman. You got people like Niara VT here saying, why is Camila misgendering a trans woman who is currently the target of a harassment campaign? And this is something that people have been trying to do quite a bit during this entire situation, is trying to turn it into a trans thing rather than a video game thing. Now, obviously, in Camila's kind of case, I think it genuinely is an accident. I think a lot of people didn't really look up who rileycs actually was. They don't even look at their profile. They probably looked at the clip in a quote retweet and didn't even look at who they actually were, because obviously a lot of people argued the fact that on their profile they have their pronouns on there, which says she, her, and obviously many people aren't going to look at that, including obviously Camila. I mean, I could probably see that she didn't look at it. Now, obviously, she ended up deleting that tweet and then making an apology over on her page, which obviously we covered in the last video that I made on this. But essentially, yeah, she said, my bad, I didn't know, I just saw a cheater, not anything else, I'm sorry. But the amount that people are going after Camila and the amount that people are trying to make up some things that she's like transphobic or something is absolutely insane. And this is something that we see so often in this kind of community, and it's a big problem. I think I kind of want to talk about it because, again, it's one of these things that constantly happens. Is a lot of these kind of trans Twitter users, or whatever you want to call them, like to push a kind of a whole thing against someone, whether it's a witch hunt or whatever, and they like to continue to push the more that they step back. The moment that they stop pushing is whenever you start making fun of them. And that is the funniest thing that, you can see. But obviously you have people like Camila, who obviously is very nice, is a very nice hearted person, kind of apologizing for this, saying, my bad, I didn't know. And then obviously people are just going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and, keep trying to put them in this kind of box, which I think it's absolutely unacceptable. And obviously you got like Niara here kind of responding to the reply saying deleted the original tweet. You can feel about this response however you want to. I would have preferred a mention of she, her in here, because it's really important to affirm a trans person's identity in this situation. You see what I mean? You give them like an inch and then they want to take a mile, and that is essentially what it is. Like being on Twitter and being attacked by someone who obviously has very deep concerns about trans issues. I don't care about trans people in general. They can exist, they can do whatever they want. It's literally one of those kind of things that is like, okay, it's happening. I'm not, part of it, but if they want to do that, then they can go ahead. And honestly, I think that is the way that it should be. But obviously, you have these people that are trying to push this onto other people so hard, even, into like the kind of they, them kind of situation. Niara actually made a video on me at one point, saying that obviously I called them they a lot, and now I just purposely do it because I think I don't care. It's a gender neutral term which can be used for anybody. Everybody is a they. So again, I think it is pretty ridiculous that you have these people trying to push it even further and trying to put you in a box every time you kind of either slip up, in Camila's case, slip up, or in my case, do something that is perfectly normal in this world of calling someone they. A street white male would not get annoyed at me for calling them they, and it should be the same for literally everybody else. And I think that is pretty ridiculous. And obviously it just comes off the back of a lot of these people trying to push these VTubers into a box, into a corner where they have to constantly apologize, constantly adjust what they are doing, because obviously they're being attacked by certain creators and certain communities by their fans, and then they have to be like, oh, okay, I'll make an apology. And obviously that's when a lot of people are saying, when you're at the top, people always try to find one tiny reason to try and bring you down. Don't worry, Kamimi, you're all good. So I love you, Yuchi. People who assumed the worst out of you are mainly trying to find some people, someone else to dunk on. You should be good. It said Twitter is a scary place. It's diabolical how fast I was accused of being a transphobe over a genuine mistake, especially over the fact that I overly pan. Which, yeah, obviously I can understand, it being a mistake, and I don't think, it's the end of the world even if they did call them he by accident, because let's be real, it's not very obvious. If someone was to look at the Riley CS clip, you guys have all seen it in my previous videos. If you want, you can go look at it. But essentially, a lot of people were quote retweeting it with the video, and people weren't looking at their account, and they do have a pretty, not like a masculine voice, but, it definitely doesn't sound feminine at all. To me, they sounded like more like a gay man. That's in my opinion, that's what they sounded like. But obviously, we know they're trans and that they go by she, her and stuff now. But, at a first impression of, not even knowing who this person was, that's what it sounded like to me and to many other people, which obviously, I can see why Camila thought it was a he. They haven't done much voice training, it seems like. That's what a lot of people have been saying over on Twitter. So again, it's pretty, easy to kind of mix it up and easy to not really understand who exactly they are. Now, obviously, yeah, a lot of people saw like Kitsu saying you don't got to apologize for it. It was an honest mistake. The people that instantly jumped to call you transphobic don't care about you to begin with. Otherwise, they would have known that you're one of the sweetest and most accepting people there is. People don't ever apologize to them. Now they know that they can make you bend. They will now be watching streams out of enjoyment, but to catch you slip up again, which is exactly true. Even, Madam Savvy here in the comments here, kind of backing up the point that I'm saying, every time, a VTuber gets targeted like this and they, are forced to apologize or forced to make some kind of statement on this, obviously they get pushed even further beyond this, because I can assure you that this isn't even the end. They will continue to push this, and they'll continue to make them apologize for small things they say on stream, for small things they say on Twitter, for small things they say on YouTube videos, literally anything. And obviously they'll keep pushing and pushing and pushing and just making this person's life miserable. And the same with many other people as well. It's not just Camila, it's many other VTubers in the space which are also facing the same issue. And obviously people are now fed up with it, that, obviously it's affecting actual normal trans people who just want to go about their daily lives and don't want to be attacking people on Twitter over the smallest of things, which honestly, I know there's a lot of people, for example, in my comment section, who have been commenting and liking who are also trans. I can see, they got the flag in their likes and stuff, whenever I'm talking about Niara. People like Niara who are obviously, doing this kind of stuff. There are trans people who are backing me up and liking up my posts because they dislike what they're doing as well. It's not just this weird thing of like, all these non-trans people versus trans people. No, it's even trans people are fed up of, people trying to put people in this box, trying to put people, in this kind of horrible position, due to the fact of they said something that they didn't like, or they made a mistake, which I think is so stupid. And obviously you got people like Tectone as well saying, the only thing that Camila did wrong was apologize. You all need to shut up. It said Rio said never go full apologist. It said Camila was trying to do the right thing. Disgusting said apologizing to the unhinged mob just emboldens them, which is 100% true. And once you kind of apologize, they will try to go further because they know that they can take that bit away from you, and they can kind of do whatever they want now, which obviously is absolutely horrible that is going on, and that it even exists in the first place. But again, I just kind of want to talk about this as a kind of follow-up to this Camila situation, as I thought it was a very horrible thing that has been going on the platform lately, at least over on Twitter. I don't really see it much on YouTube and stuff. Obviously, it's probably because they can't get those dunks over on YouTube and places like that. It's just, it's a little bit harder. But over on Twitter, obviously, they can go ahead, make some quote retweet and bot their likes or whatever. And then obviously, it's much easier to make it seem like they're a bad person or whatever. But as I said, Camila did nothing wrong. If anything, as Tectone said, the wrong thing was apologizing to them because they're now going to take a mile. But again, hopefully they don't. Sometimes, they might get bored, and maybe finding out that Camila is pan might also change that too. But again, obviously, it just sucks that, people get targeted like this, and people are continuing to be targeted like this over on places like Twitter. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSups, use my code Kazza, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.